Hey, young world, we are back here once again on Crate Diggers. My name is Verbz, and I'm here with
Steez.
and we've got another single for you today.
Yeah.
So, on the last episode, we picked out our album of the day. Let's look back at it. Let's look longingly.
Let's check it out. What we pick?
We picked LLCoolJ's
We pick America.
Doin It on vinyl.
Woo.
Let's go.
Let's get into this.
Crate Diggers.
All right.
Okay, we got our record here today. We Doin It from LLCoolJ. This goes back to 1995. This is from his record Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
And this is actually a English pressing, made in England.
Yeah.
Very cool, fancy. Let's do a little vinyl, little record check up.
Fire.
Right. Here we go.
Fire.
Ooh, look. You'll also see that it's got a sticker says that it's got Hey Lover, a remix with Eric Sermon on the other side of this. We got B-side coming for you too.
Two
Hey
bangers.
Lover is a banger to me. Let's say, okay, I got to just say, before Jay-Z and Biggie and Tupac,
Yep.
LLCoolJ was my favorite rapper. Like, it was probably Run DMC and then LLCoolJ. He was just like the biggest rapper in the world. In fact, the phrase GOAT comes from my man LLCoolJ right here.
Yep.
So when we talk about GOATs, let's pay some respect to this man. He doesn't get the same type of hype in this world today as he had at the time, but I gotta say I've been a fan forever.
Yeah.
This is a classic song. Let's pull out the vinyl here.
I think the first song I heard from him was Bad,
Okay. Yeah.
and to this day I really besides maybe some songs on his albums, I've never disliked a single from LLCoolJ. He's just everything. I feel like he's had like over maybe 10, 15 years of consistently good singles, and he reinvents himself all the time. And after hearing, like I talked about last episode on QLS, one of the best episodes you could watch is with LLCoolJ talking about literally the beginning of hip hop and what he feels he influenced hip hop, the way he did his music, and what he took from everyone else, being that he knew literal everyone from the invention of hip hop in New York. He was talking about walking to everybody's houses, his best friends being some of the people who invented flowing, beats, all this stuff. And they had different types of equipment at their house, and he would go and see how they made their music. But something that he came from was his family had I believe there was musicians in there that were like soul, rock, and jazz. And he had those type of people in his family. Therefore, he knew how to make a beginning, middle, and end of a song and make a song succinct. And that is not something that was being released in the 80s for hip hop. It was 5-minute songs, 13-minute songs.
Yeah.
So there was no format to making a song with beginning, middle, and end. And he actually, I think you could rightfully so accredit with him the 3-minute song. The 3-minute hip hop song is kind of where he thrives, and he knows how to package a song like a pop song, like a R&B song, like a soul song. He knows how to package those samples, hooks, singers, and he did not care to dodge R&B. He was an inventor of a lot of things. Even if he took all the backlash to do those things, he was so dope at them, and the commitment to that makes him much more of an artist than just the chain and flexing and all this stuff that's so flashy.
Well, and we forget, like, he was a TV star and a movie star, and like he was doing all that stuff at the same time as some of those things. It was like he was a big deal, and we don't really understand his impact. Like, there is no Drake without LLCoolJ, because
he took all the
I Need
daggers.
an around the way girl kind of like sets the stage for in bringing in that kind of energy into hip hop. And then when you're talking about like coming from like 7-minute songs. Of course, you're coming from disco, where disco is cocaine music. You got 7-8 minutes on the dance floor. You're trying to do these songs, so it makes sense that when you're doing early hip hop, it's
rock
kind
and
of
soul
essentially
go forever
taking.
too, sometimes.
Well, it depends for sure. I mean, there's certain eras of soul songs where it's like 2 minutes and all that stuff. You're churning 45s out, but this specific thing about disco becoming hip hop, like this using the same types of samples, but then the song structure keeps getting reduced and changed and perfected over the time, because you would have had if you think about like Rapper's Delight is an incredibly long song.
It's so long
with no hook, and so was
like
also
a
series of exactly. But it also has a series of rappers just continuing on, and where LL's making very succinct pieces. But when we get
it's clear after he describes that that when you look at what he packaged for his singles and things like that, words just short. I'm bad, doing it. What's another?
Radio, lounging.
He's not saying a message in the title, and there's no long phrase. It's catchy. It's simple. What's the
Hey Love or Phenomenon?
Hey Love again. Yep. So simple to you don't got to play it before you know what his ideas are on the song, and that is different than the packaging of OG hip hop, which is phrasing and it's experimental and it's different. And he literally came at it with the fact of like, I'm doing pop rap. That is kind of where
you're right.
Pop rap is his lane.
Fully accepting it and joining that.
Whatever's hot, he's mixing it in very appropriately, and from R&B to drum breaks to like almost like what Public Enemy type beats. He had the range of everything. Yeah. And I feel like his talent is just so he's been doing that since he was 17, 18.
Yeah, he was a kid.
You cannot deny that that's one of the most talented dudes there is. And when I think of this song too, the Doin It beat, it's just so fucking New York. You got the deep keys, the huge drums, and there's just something about it that without hearing it yet, it strikes me as a timeless hip hop song.
Well, one of the things that we just looked at before we even got into it, we were looking at things about the song, and it sounds like the beat originally was for Biggie, and you can hear this "Where Brooklyn at," and it's "Go Brooklyn, Go Brooklyn, Go Brooklyn." So that's definitely where you'd get that Biggie energy, but also like you can see how Biggie would have done a song like this too. Like regardless of what happened with this beat, it was gonna be a hit. Like whoever it went to was gonna make us something.
That is like I was saying, it's like an Eric B. It's like a massive, almost like a song that's meant for a movie. Is that beat?
Well, it's interesting you say Eric B. because the guy who produced it also produced for Eric B. and Rakim and Main Source and that kind of stuff. So
there's something incredible about not just the production, but the engineering of that production. Because once you hear the way these drums hit and the way the keyboard is mixed, the dun dun dun, there's no levels that could be adjusted to make it any better. It's like somebody who scores movies made that beat.
So this is Rashad Smith, is the from Tumbling Dice Productions. The other thing on this is the guest vocalist is LaShawn. You don't so many times in this era you didn't get to know who the R&B guest appearance was, or in the other way where it was R&B, you wouldn't sometimes know who the guest rapper was. So
that's right.
It's nice to be able to be in an era where you can
each other nameless.
Actual like the content is there. We can see who's involved. So this record actually comes out in 96 because it's like they release Mr. Smith in 95, then 96 they have their second single coming out, which is Doin It. So we'll get into this here. It also has some remixes on it. Like I said, it's got a Hey Lover remix.
We got to hear the Hey Lover.
The other thing that's kind of weird about it is it's a 45 on 12 inch.
Such turntables.
This one was pressed with two of the same sticker, so we'll see if they're both sides of the same or if they just screwed up and put two different labels on it. But
I'll react.
So let's see what we got. We'll just dive in and react accordingly.
Yeah.
So
that's our job.
LLCoolJ, Doin It. This might be a remix. It might not. Let's see.
Oh, this is my beat right here.
Let's go. Okay, totally different. This is a different sample.
Remix that joint. Word up.
Remix?
We had to
This is the remix.
that joint. Smooth it out.
I know that sample. Now I can't think of it off the top of my head now. This is totally different.
Feeling this joint.
Let's just write it out. Let's see how we go.
Yeah. It's a mean joint. I'm in the mood for something wild and obscene.
I hear that. I'm getting tired of the same old routine.
I need some drama.
Here it come out.
Tattoos and dim lights.
This back and forth, he was so good at that shit.
That's all I need. We got 2 mouths to feed.
You talking about some nine?
To the 6 indeed. So lay back and let your daddy do it.
A real Mac stay on track. He got the run.
Right through it.
Doing it well.
This is so different.
Way different.
I represent Queen. She was raised out in Brooklyn.
I'm so excited to go back to New York next time. It's gonna be
Crazy.
every time. Feels good.
It's got this like
Represent Queen. She was
kinda
raised out in Brooklyn.
Nintendo-y keyboard going on.
We was amped before.
Halfway.
All the way.
I like it, that little.
Raw to the bone. Sick with it.
Wild did it. Ain't too proud to beg.
It's so lo-fi.
I'm in the zone getting bedroom props. I'm talking outside scenarios.
It's crazy. He's just like made a whole different song.
Going there again, back seats and wild treats. Daddy do his thing.
It's kind of like the Love Movement type of production on this.
Yeah.
That little boom, 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 those little deep bass chops. Way different drums. Way different. She commits to the inflection pretty well.
Represent Queen. She was raised out in Brooklyn.
Man, I haven't heard this remix. This is
It's a
great.
banger.
I represent Queen. She was raised out in Brooklyn. I need that new Benz. You in it. Testing my limits. Laid back.
Just come on with the whole vibe.
Totally. Also, you know, both of us love him because he's a Jeep representative. You know, like we both are Jeep. We both been Jeep folks, so always been about it. Backseat of my Jeep. Let's swing it. What's up?
In front of Juniors. Tell me, why you never wanna see your ex again?
Hey lover, you separate the boys from the men.
That's a fact.
Hey lover, you separate the boys from the men. What a self-referential on your next single.
Make me wonder if doing it's everything it seems.
You're so goddamn
Standing up
marketing.
in the straight and then I lean.
I love it when you're way up in my mix.
Everything is butter in the 9 to the 6.
And doing it well.
That's right, Drake. You don't get away with none of this unless he did it first. Because let me tell you, I've seen documentaries and all the OGs hated Halo. They just hate it. There's no other word but hate. They just hated it. They just didn't think it belonged.
I love the Hey Lover, man. That music video was great.
He blended two genres perfectly. There's nothing to hate on, but if you're in that era, the masculinity was forefront.
For sure. Well, and also, like,
Can't do that.
he's this big ass buff ass dude, so you know, him being. But I think that's almost like gets to cover for the fact, you know.
Yep.
Doing soft songs. What are you gonna say to this man? He's gonna have a mama tell him to knock you out. All right, so we heard
There's
Doing
another.
It there, but a remix. Let's see if the other side has the OG version. I don't even know. We'll see.
We'll see.
Fuck. Let's give it a shot.
It's got to.
It's got to.
Where's my? Yeah.
Okay. Dun, dun.
Check it out, baby.
Where's them drums? Where's them drums?
Bring the drama.
Yeah, you can't be mad at that. Go, Brooklyn.
Insane.
Their back and forth on this song is great.
It's so much better than that laid back stuff we just heard. That's great, but the energy they have is like serious.
kinda horny. Conventional
They commit it like a motherfucker to this song. They commit so hard.
Get block off, get my rocks off, blow your socks off, make sure your G-spot's off.
See, they're not pulling any punches on this verse. It's getting straightened into the sexual shit.
Unfiltered as fuck. Like not a pop version.
Daddy, slow down your flow. Put it on me like a G, baby.
Nice and slow.
I need a rough neck nigga.
killed
That
me.
single in a sec who ain't afraid to pull my hand, spank me from the back.
No doubt, I'm the player that you're
Talking about.
But do you really think that you can work it
I
out?
guarantee you, shorty, it's real. Baby, stick it out. Here comes the man of steel.
Yeah, you can hear Biggie was killed this. Jesus.
Doing it and doing it and doing it well.
Yeah, come on.
Doing it and doing it
Big up to Brooklyn.
I represent Queens. She was raised out in Brooklyn.
Ever.
and doing it and doing it well.
Rest in peace, Mama Wallace.
Hey,
Doing it and doing it and doing it well.
I represent Queens. She was raised out in Brooklyn. I'm in the mix now, searching for the right spot to hit now. Get down.
Damn, I love it deep down. You use
It's incredible.
you are my love.
It's incredible.
I didn't remember it being so sparse, but it's
The
perfect.
only thing left to do was climb.
There's no
Let's
bass
make
line.
it last.
It's just
We ain't
that
going out like
80s
that. All
keys,
this time you been telling me
the
that
loop,
you was a dime.
I tried to warn you, girl.
the
You were
drums,
innocent,
and
now
then
let's
like
get
a
it on.
kind of a reverb thing.
Don't do that, chill, wait a
At that
minute.
point,
baby,
yeah,
let
there's a
me
little
teach you
bass
that.
Talk a good one, shorty. Love you, making me sweat.
They do those reverb hits.
Nice and wet, we get it on to the break of dawn.
Damn, I almost forgot how much LaShawn is actually.
She's got
Yeah, she's running this song.
Oh, wow, we're doing it.
Like he has kind of more like playful, sexual kind of thing going on. She just has a tone that's serious and committed to the theme of the song. That vocal tone is so sick, man. She kills it. I mean, she gets half the verses and she gets the hook. She's most of the song.
Scheming on the ass since the first day.
Damn, I love it when you talk like that. Make it bounce,
She
sugar.
said,
You can bounce me back. More flesh than the Greek fest.
Pull up the cess.
Pass the Hennessy.
Put my body to the test.
I don't remember
way,
these
way
names.
back. Many niggas
Shouting out the Greek fest. Come on. That was tight. Get some spanakopita.
From the back, from the side.
I'm in the zone. One of a kind when it's time to do mine. Camcorder in the whole shit.
Press rewind, let it flow on screen while we puffs the L. Laying back
we
in the
puffs
cut
the
while we're
L.
under the spell.
We're rolling
I
Elsa.
like the way the F went down. Go to sleep. Tomorrow I'll take you back downtown. We'll be
Elsa hard dude.
And doing it well.
I'm not gonna get
Doing
into
it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it.
It's like a cross joint.
represent Queen. She was raised out in Brooklyn.
I watched someone super delicately fill a cone joint the other day. It was the longest cone joint roll I've ever seen in my life. It was adorable.
Queen. She was raised out in Brooklyn.
Doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it.
The spice she's putting on the lyrics too is great.
Represent Queen. She was raised out in Brooklyn.
They couldn't hire somebody to hit the tone that she's hitting. She's going crazy.
Yeah, she deserves her residues on this
Raised out in Brooklyn.
He represents Queens. She was raised on Brooklyn. You see, folks,
one. That's the difference right there.
he represents
Two
Queens.
boroughs.
There's another borough. It's in Brooklyn.
Def Jam.
She was raised out there.
She wasn't from Roosevelt Island.
He found her somewhere in New York. One of the boroughs.
Man.
That was great.
Now I want to hear a Biggie song over this beat, though.
what I'm saying.
I bet I could blend it.
very
I could find an
easily,
instrumental that'll fit over this. I bet, or excuse me,
What would be a good-
acapella,
Maybe
machine
hypnotized.
gun funk or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know. We could probably figure it out. All right, so that was Doing It, the album version. Now we've heard both the remix and the album version. I'm such a Hey Lover fan. I gotta find it on here, so we gotta see if this next one is Hey Lover.
We have to
Apparently,
The most controversial song ever.
Eric Sermon of EPMD apparently is the producer on this remix. Maybe there's Boys to Men here. I don't know. Let's see what we got.
Some Philly boys.
Does it
rapping
sound-
with some people from Brooklyn?
Okay,
Or
it's
Queens?
definitely a new beat. That's not how Hey Lover starts.
Whoa.
Let me tell you something. Wait, was that Keith Murray?
This is EPMD, right?
It almost sounded. His first line almost sounded like Keith Murray. Okay.
Damn.
A coach bag in your hand. I was laying in the coop with
My hat turned back.
We caught eyes for a moment,
And that was that.
Did he change the verse? Did he rewrite?
No, this is the same verse.
Goddamn, they look so soft.
But is it like another
Gotta
take?
take it from your
Oh, no,
man,
I
that's
think
my
it sounds
mission.
exactly right.
If his love
But
is
this
really
is
got to
definitely
handle
like a totally
competition.
different style
You
beat
only
for it.
knew in 5 months. Besides, you drink too much
Just smoke
too many blunts. And I be working out every day.
Why would they hate
thinking
on
about
him?
you. Looking at my own eyes in the rear view. Catching flashbacks of our eye contact. Wish I could lay you on your stomach and caress your back.
I can't believe I remember every one of these lyrics.
Such a banger.
I ain't had a crush in years.
Say love.
Oh,
Now, Boys doesn't fit as well over this version. LL doesn't. I mean, LL fits everything.
yeah,
but
yeah.
Boys just don't fit over this as well.
Right.
That was definitely a Keith Murray sample right
Man must
there.
think it's safe for you to travel that way. And I don't want to violate your relationship, so I lay
Kinda
back
hearing
in the
some
cut
T-Rock
with a crush that's a
little
trap.
bit.
Still,
Yeah.
you can't stop me from
having
having daydreams. Tonguing you down with
Vanilla ice cream.
kissing on your thighs under moonlight. Searching your body with my tongue, girl, all night. I wonder
Explicit.
one day could it be?
Don't mix
Simple
with me.
dreams
I'm not-
turn into reality. Our love would come
Doesn't need to
down
be.
so naturally. We would walk down the aisle of
Destiny.
what your man get his hustle on, got your type scared. Break
I
off
like
a little
it.
chunk
Chains
change
and
in
I like
your
it.
hair. That seems to be enough to satisfy your needs, but there's a deeper level.
Like some
If you
native
follow my
tongue.
lead, say,
But of course, it already has the R&B, so it's good for them.
It's a lot more bounce. It's like a lot more. It's groovy.
It's like a sample keyboard and some sample horns.
Yeah. The problem is the Boys just don't work over it as well.
That's the hardest part in hip hop, honestly, is doing sample and remix. You never know if you can get those to fit. You can get any verse to fit over some good sample, but can you get the singing to fit? And that's the hardest part, period. Fonte talked about that too as well. I believe Nicolay sent them remixes back, and the singing that they had was matched with the keyboards and samples that he played. So that's the initial thing that gets him in the door, is nobody else matches the keyboards on the singing. And I feel like if you can make a successful remix with both those things hitting, not just the verses, you're crazy. You have a musical ear. And I think this works. I mean,
No,
it's
it
not-
works,
The notes aren't off, but it's just not carrying the tune.
Well, it just doesn't
like
have the
Hey
power
Lover.
in that Hey Lover has. We'll try the other side, see what the other version is on the
Yeah,
other
that's
side.
what it I mean, this is a crazy duo, by the way. Waste Minute, hello.
Especially in this era, like nobody was big.
Primes.
You don't realize how big Boyz II Men was. That song with Mariah Carey was #1 for like an entire year. Like truly just dominated at that era. That
They were just the forefront of R&B.
yeah, Water Runs Dry era was just oof. It was
It was boof.
boof. It was boys everywhere. All right, that was the Hey Lover remix.
And then they turned to men.
They turned to motherfucking men.
It was crazy.
All right. Let's see what let's see what the other side has for it. Let's see. My groove looks pretty lined up. Let's give it a shot.
I love how much Quest talks about how his talent show at his high school was The Roots with actual Black Thought with a different name and Boyz II Men.
That's crazy, dude.
That was their talent show.
This is still a remix, but that's the right sample.
Yeah, that's the original sample. Is this a remix of
Hey Lover.
Oh, it is? Really?
Oh wait, no, it's Sorry. Oh, that's
shit.
wild.
See, that's what I was talking about, the first drum loop being so perfect. Is like any other drum loop right now doesn't have that same hit.
This is crazy.
This is some DJ shit.
It's our first time together, and and I'm feeling kinda horny. Conventional methods of making love kinda boring. I wanna knock your block off, get my rocks off, blow your socks off, make sure your G-spot's
I'ma
off.
call you Big Daddy and scream your name.
Nah, it just doesn't hit. That's crazy.
So what you saying? I get my swerve on, bring it live, make it last forever. Damn, the kitty cat's tired.
All right, guys. Sometimes it just isn't right.
Yeah. That was
Hey.
what is that? What does that feel? That beat right there. That's like a
They're taking like almost like a Euro pop at that moment and then
Yeah.
fusing it. It just is. It doesn't work.
yeah. There's
I was
some,
like, yeah.
there's some '90s song there that seems to be the aim of the feel of the song, but man,
So that
Thin
one
blend.
they're calling the unarmed mix with LL. I don't really know what that means. That's a Grace Jones sample, by the way. I love Grace Jones, and absolutely incredible. One of the most incredible looking humans that ever lived on the planet.
that's crazy.
Man, it's been fun to revisit some LL. Like
Yeah.
this is a great era
Legend.
for. I mean, it's funny because we just looked up a little bit about this record, and when Mr. Smith drops, it gets like 3 stars, but it's got "Doing It, Hey Lover" and "Loungin'" on it, and I'm like, I think if that came out today, we'd be a little bit higher on it, but this
Timeless songs.
it was fun to play like this 45 version from the UK. It's got a little extra spice and spank on it. I've never heard these versions. So let's
way
talk about bopability when it comes to doing it. What do you feel like the bopability is still to this day?
The remix, I was feeling that. That was definitely like a direction I didn't see that they would like go for in that era, because I know he was way more on those like New York beats. So when you hear the original, I mean, it just carries so hard. You can't do too much of a remix to that song. It just like it has everything it needs in a very minimal way. Like there's no real bass line to doing it. There's just passing back and forth, and there's the keys and the drum break, and everything is at the perfect. Like I said, it's almost like a movie score. How well that's mixed. That is big money in that. That's why Biggie would have rapped over it. Those are like big New York era tracks, and now that I hear it again, she carries the inflection of the song so hard. What's her name? LaShawn with the hook and the majority of the pass back and her inflection, the way she does it. That's why you understand and feel the things you feel when you listen to it, is because she carries that wholeheartedly through the whole thing. She's actually kind of the standout to me in this song. His lyrics are timeless, the way he's breaking shit down. But the way the song gets carried is definitely LaShawn to me. And the beat still, to me, you could play that beat and anybody could freestyle over it forever.
Yeah.
It is perfect. That's a 10. That's a 10 beat.
Yeah, that Doing It beat is amazing. I could definitely play this, mix this into any kind of 90s mix, or even just like
R&B mix.
Yeah, like R&B, or even like, I was playing Valentine's Day. It would have been a great one to throw in the Valentine's Day mix. But yeah, this one feels good to revisit. I always love some LL. Shout out the GOAT.
And it's cool that we're playing Hey Lover to it now in this era, because like I was saying, it wasn't just one documentary that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the 90s documentaries coming into the 2000s era talking about hip-hop as a whole. There was not just a little bit of like, I didn't like that song. There was a majority of rappers just expressing they hate that shit. It doesn't belong in the genre. It isn't the genre. It's pop and R&B. Listen to his lyrics on the song. He's killing that fucking song, Hey Lover. You remember all this shit from early 90s. Like that,
I was 11 when that song came.
You cannot just like remember something like on that level. So I think once you move out of that era and you put it in context with, I mean, the guy who is now in the door because of him, Drake, just released a full R&B album. You can't do that. You don't get listened to in the genre if that's your feel. But this is what he carried the torch for. And now that you listen to the song that kind of originates that, it just puts me in the thought, no, he was killing the whole time. Yeah. And if you went to a show, you probably knew he was killing it the whole time.
He's one of the artists I've never seen live. I've never got to do a show with him. It's kind of crazy.
30 plus years.
I'm kind of yeah, I gotta make that happen someday. But again, I don't think he's out touring like that.
He
But
made another album last year.
shit.
He just
Shout
never
out
stops.
LL. All right, so
Incredible.
we got to pick our next record for
Yeah.
our next Crate Diggers episode, our singles edition. What you want to hear, 1 through 7?
Let's go 3.
1, 2, 3.
What we got?
O'Shea in the building. We are
Huge.
going to go to Ice Cube. You know how we do it. And
Mm-mm.
2 in the morning on this one.
Sheesh.
Man, this is a fun little single. We'll get into this next time. So come back to Crate Diggers,
West Coast is
subscribe,
up.
like, leave a comment, do all the things, pass it around, help us get out to a few other people.
Please like and subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment.
That's all we ask.
Mhm.
We're not asking that much. I swear
Come
to
on,
God.
man. Hit that sub button.
Click it. I don't even care if you ever
Bang.
watch a video again. Just click
Bang.
it.
That helps us.
Ding. Okay. So thank you very much for being here on Crate Diggers. We'll be back next time. Let's go.
Peace. We out.
Crate Diggers.